Hey everyone, so the crypto market's taken a small dip today. Nothing to panic about, but I've got some fascinating insights to share with you that might just blow your mind. Here's what's really interesting. I follow a bunch of top-tier analysts. And guess what? Almost all of them, we're talking like 99%, have been posting incredibly bullish content over the past 24 hours. There's literally just one analyst I follow who thinks we might be heading into bear market territory right now. Now, here's the thing about minority opinions. Sometimes they nail it, right? If you follow enough contrarian voices, some of them are bound to be spot on. But here's what I've noticed from years of tracking these analysts. When the majority of my trusted sources align on something, they're almost always right. And right now, they're all convinced we're about to witness an absolutely epic blow-off top this cycle.
And here's where it gets really exciting. XRP is positioned to play a massive role in this final surge. For the first time in nearly a decade, we're looking at XRP potentially melting faces in a way we haven't seen before. Don't get me wrong, XRP has already had an incredible run this cycle. But we've got that precious regulatory clarity, we've hit multiple all-time highs over the past year, and the vindication feels amazing. But we're still waiting for that life-changing moment where it absolutely rockets to the upside and leaves everyone speechless. I have complete confidence this is exactly what's coming. Whether I'm right or wrong, we'll find out soon enough. But my conviction here is rock solid. Honestly, it would be absolutely bizarre if this doesn't happen. The only scenario where I see us not getting this epic run is if we get hit with some catastrophic black swan event that completely demolishes the market for years. Short of something that extreme, I just can't see us entering a bear market right now. Here's something that'll get your attention. I've been diving into analysis from several XRP chart experts, and one of them pointed out something incredible. The last time XRP was positioned similarly to where it is now in the market cycle, it went on to do a 130x from that point. Let that sink in for a moment. This is exactly why I keep saying that asking for double-digit price action on XRP isn't crazy at all. Even the analysts calling for $20 to $30 XRP, we'll see if it happens, but it's not some wild fantasy. Right now, XRP is sitting at $2.43, Bitcoin just crossed $108,000, and I'm keeping a close eye on what's happening in traditional markets. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not particularly fascinated by the stock market on its own. But here's why I track it religiously. It's often a crystal ball for crypto movements. Both stocks and crypto are risk-on assets, so when the stock market goes on a tear, crypto typically follows suit. They move together most of the time, so understanding one helps predict the other. Check this out. Ryan Dietrich, who's the chief market strategist at Carson Group, just shared this absolutely mind-blowing chart. His analysis shows that when you have a high VIX combined with stocks near all-time highs, it's historically been incredibly bullish. Here's what happened. The VIX, that's the volatility index for those who don't know, nearly hit 29 on Friday, while the S&P 500 was sitting pretty near all-time highs. When we've seen similar setups in the past, particularly in the late 90s and during 2020 to 2021, they kicked off absolutely massive melt-ups. Now, here's the kicker. Yes, eventually these signals did mark market peaks, but the first signal in these clusters, they led to incredibly strong returns. So we might be looking at the beginning of something truly spectacular. Now, let me break down exactly what you're seeing on your screen. This chart is showing us something incredibly rare that just flashed, and it could absolutely signal massive upside coming. And I'm not just talking about stocks here. Crypto is going to benefit big time from this setup. So here's what's happening with the VIX. Technically, it measures expected volatility, but everyone uses it as the market's fear gauge. And guess what? It just rocketed up to nearly 29. To put that in perspective, this thing runs on a scale from 0 to 100. 0 means no fear whatsoever, and 100 is pure panic mode. So we've got the VIX hitting 29, that's genuine fear territory, while the S&P 500 is sitting just a few percentage points away from all-time highs. Think about how wild that combination is. This almost never happens. We've got real fear in the market, even though stocks are absolutely crushing it right now. And here's the thing about volatility. It typically spikes when investors start panicking and making emotional decisions based on their feelings rather than logic. That's exactly why the VIX works so well as a fear indicator. But here's where it gets really interesting. Historically, every single time we've seen this exact setup, like in the late 90s or early 2020, markets didn't crash. They did the complete opposite, like they melted upward. Stocks absolutely ripped higher for extended periods, and it caught everyone off guard. The data right on your screen proves this. In these situations, the S&P 500 averaged over 12% gains in the following year and was higher more than 80% of the time. That's not luck, that's a pattern. Here's why this happens. When you see this setup, fear is already baked into market prices. All those scared investors, they're already hedged up to their eyeballs because they're terrified. But despite all that hedging and fear, look how high prices are right now. So what happens next is beautiful. Once that fear starts unwinding, all those hedges unwind too. And that's what creates these incredible melt-up scenarios. When people finally realize the world isn't ending, FOMO completely replaces fear. And that's what absolutely fuels these massive rallies. This is exactly why this chart matters so much for us as XRP holders. When traditional markets go full risk-on mode, liquidity floods into absolutely everything. That's when altcoins go parabolic. That's when XRP shines. If we're heading into another one of these risk-on melt-up phases, history tells us crypto will be the biggest winner of all. Just think back to 2020 and 2021. The VIX was elevated early on. Markets were volatile initially. But what happened next was absolutely incredible. But once that fear completely burned off, we got the biggest bull run in history. If this pattern repeats itself, this current spike in volatility near record highs might actually be the launching pad for the next massive leg higher, not the end of the party. That's definitely how I'm reading this situation. Just look at these indicators on your screen. Check out what happened last cycle. When the VIX first hit those elevated levels, see these signal dates? When it first spiked earlier in 2020, look how much time actually passed afterward. Was that the end of the world when it first triggered? Absolutely not. Was the market genuinely fearful though? You bet. I was making videos back then. Go back and listen to them if you want proof. The fear was absolutely real. But what ultimately happened? Both the stock market and crypto moved significantly higher. Now, yes, eventually one of these signals did mark the top. But here's what I'm telling you. Just because you see the first trigger of one of these setups, historically it's actually been incredibly bullish because people are getting fearful way too early. That's the key insight here. Premature fear often signals opportunity. And look here, that he's got it marked back in the late 90s too. Same exact story, same exact pattern. It's like watching history repeat itself in real time. Now, here's a post from Credible Crypto that just dropped Monday afternoon, and this is going to blow your mind. He says he's just as confident as ever that our cycle top isn't in yet. His original target that he set way back in 2018, $100,000 plus for Bitcoin this cycle, has already been met. But based on how price action is developing, he's now very confident we'll see $150,000 plus before this cycle wraps up. I was there when he was posting these predictions, and to some people it sounded like complete fantasy land nonsense. But I never thought that. Even when Bitcoin was just over $3,000, I always believed it could hit over $100,000. Heck, it could hit over $1 million one day. But here's what I've also always believed. XRP was going to hit new all-time highs. And honestly, it would be absolutely crazy to think that XRP would never reach double digits. Never hit $20, $30, $40, $50, maybe even closer to $100 at some point in history. Now, to be completely transparent, I don't think we're seeing $50 or $100 XRP this market cycle. I'd put that at about a 0% chance. But the idea of XRP being worth 3 digits at some unknown point in the future, if it keeps getting adopted like this, that's not crazy at all. People are going to look back at XRP at $2.43, wherever it is right now, and they're going to be like, wait, you got to buy XRP at $2 to $3? They'll be so incredibly jealous if this goes where we think it's heading. Credible Crypto continues. Just like I said in 2018, I don't think we'll see $300,000 plus this cycle for Bitcoin, which means I'm very confident we top somewhere above $150,000 plus, but below $300,000 this cycle. $200,000 is possible for Bitcoin, but not a given in my opinion. Here's my take. If he's right and Bitcoin pushes above $200,000, how could XRP not at least get close to $20? Wouldn't that be bizarre if it doesn't reach at least close to $20 when Bitcoin is trading that high? Here's my reasoning. Once there are that many people in massive profits on Bitcoin, those profits are going to get pulled and cycled through the rest of the crypto space. How could a huge chunk of that money not eventually roll into XRP? That's exactly how I see this playing out. Here's another incredible post from Credible Crypto that's going to get you excited. After laying out additional reasons, he confidently states, Yeah, Bitcoin's going above $150,000 this cycle. But here's the kicker, he adds this side note that's absolutely crucial. There is no way in this world that Bitcoin goes parabolic like what we see below. So $150,000 plus, without there being the biggest alt season we have ever seen shortly after. Now that is spot on. If Bitcoin really does reach those heights, that's exactly what I've been saying. This is why the opportunity for real-life changing wealth is sitting right there in altcoins, and specifically in XRP. That's my personal conviction, and I believe it firmly. Here's the logic. There's way less money in altcoins compared to Bitcoin. It doesn't take nearly as much capital flowing in to create that incredible multiplier effect we're all hoping for. You're going to get this absolute tsunami of liquidity flowing directly into XRP as people take massive profits from Bitcoin. And as the mania really hits its stride, people will start throwing money directly into XRP on its own merit. Credible Crypto nails it when he says, a parabolic move like this on Bitcoin is not driven by logic, reason, or rationality. It is driven by speculation, greed, and euphoria, which is exactly what will drive a rotation into altcoins during and after the Bitcoin top. He continues, it's not supposed to make sense. It's not supposed to be logical. It's merely a natural second-order effect of the greed and irrationality that we will see at the Bitcoin bubble top. I mean, can we get a golf clap for that analysis? Absolutely spot on. I firmly believe that's exactly how this plays out. It's coming, folks. Here's what Crypto Michael posted, and this is one of the guys who accurately called XRP breaking out this market cycle. He said, Bitcoin held weekly support. The bull market isn't over. Higher. This is exactly what I keep seeing from analysts with solid track records. He posted this Monday morning, and the confidence is palpable. Chart analyst Blunt just shared his take the other day, focusing on Ethereum. Nice higher low printed on Ethereum over the weekend. The doomers are a leg too early, in my opinion. So he's expecting at least one more major surge to the upside for Ethereum. Then he adds, same deal with Bitcoin. One more all-time high, then top. The current doomers are too early. See the pattern here? If people keep screaming doom and gloom right now, eventually they'll be right. But not before we absolutely rip to the upside first. That's exactly where I stand on this. Here's a brilliant observation from chart analyst Mustache that really puts things in perspective. Bitcoin was declared dead in 2022. Yes, that FTX era. I remember it vividly. Since then, it has risen by more than 700%. Now altcoins are being declared dead? People's sentiment actually tells you where we are right now. All it takes is one piece of good news to ignite the fire, and it will happen, in my opinion. This is absolutely true, and I've witnessed this cycle firsthand so many times. Everyone's all doom and gloom until something suddenly flips. Then everyone's like, snap of a finger. Okay, I'm so happy I got in. It's like watching NPCs in a video game. The retail crowd is just consistently wrong about timing. We are not done here, people. Here's what Merlin the Trader posted. This guy's got nearly 400,000 followers on X, so he's got serious credibility. He's showing others priced against Bitcoin. That's the top 125 coins by market cap, excluding the top 10. Here's what Merlin the Trader posted. This guy's got nearly 400,000 followers on X, so he's got serious credibility. He's showing others priced against Bitcoin. That's the top 125 coins by market cap, excluding the top 10. So we're looking at a great picture of altcoins here, and specifically, these are altcoins priced against Bitcoin. Everything's denominated in Bitcoin. That's what you're seeing on your screen right now. Then you've got the MACD indicator for that chart on the bottom, and this is where it gets really exciting. He says, altcoins are flashing a cycle level bottom. A third MACD crossed in 8 years. Each one marked the start of an altcoin supercycle. This is how generational trades begin, before the noise, before the hype. And that's absolutely true, the MACD. This indicator down here, that's a momentum indicator, folks. So when he's saying it's flipping right here, just look at what happened last cycle. As soon as it flipped, what happened? It absolutely ripped to the upside. And the cycle before that in 2017, same exact thing when it flipped. Straight up. That's exactly why you see these green bars during bull times and red bars during bear times. It's all about momentum shifts. And what's happening right now? He's saying it's flipping again. Now, if this is the moment, it just means things are going to get exciting soon. It doesn't mean everything explodes today, tomorrow, next week, or even next month. But it does mean this setup is aligning in a way that makes complete historical sense. I honestly don't know how you couldn't be optimistic here. Here's some fascinating on-chain data from Sandsmith that they posted Monday evening. Just 10 days after XRP dropped below $1.90, and 3 days after retracing to $2.20, XRP has crossed above $2.50. Data shows clear signs of the crowd selling at a loss and conveying FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Prices typically move opposite to retail's expectations. And folks, that's always the case. Well, not literally always, but you get what I'm saying. That's exactly why I mentioned a few minutes ago that retail is just consistently wrong. Whatever the masses think is going to happen, they're usually dead wrong. That's another massive reason not to believe we're at the top of this market cycle. There is absolutely no euphoria here right now. There has never been a peak for a crypto market cycle when the market wasn't completely euphoric. It's never happened. Are we supposed to believe this time is different? Those are usually famous last words, my friends. Here's an incredible post from Chart Nerd that's going to blow your mind. XRP has broken and currently sits above its prior 7-year resistance. He's talking about 2017 through 2024. Then he drops this bombshell. The last time XRP broke and sat above a 4-year resistance, it rallied 130 times. That's right, folks. 130-fold increase. That's what happened last time. He's referring to the 2013 through 2017 range. So when he says he's targeting a 12x to $27, he asks, is the target too high? No. Look, I don't know if his target's right or wrong. I don't make specific price predictions myself because I'll admit I don't know exactly where price is heading. I just have conviction that broadly speaking, it's going higher over time. Otherwise, I wouldn't be holding XRP, right? But I don't think $27 is crazy talk at all. You're operating within the realm of reality here, remember. 130x would have sounded absolutely insane before it happened. But guess what? It freaking happened. Are you starting to see why so many of us are incredibly bullish on what's coming? Drop your thoughts below. Are these targets realistic, or are we all just dreaming? And don't forget to subscribe if you want to catch every update as this story unfolds. Now, it's absolutely true that with each passing cycle, you typically see a lower multiplier effect. It's just harder to get any investment to double, triple, or quadruple in value the more money that's already flowing into it. I mean, just imagine if 100% of humans already held XRP. Picture the Herculean effort it would take to move the price up even 10%. You know what I mean? Once there's tons of capital already in something, it becomes much harder to move. But here's the thing, there's really not that much money in XRP right now in the grand scheme of things, which is exactly why there's still massive opportunity here. Eventually, given enough time, XRP will be understood by pretty much everyone on the planet as an early winner, or just a flat-out winner of the crypto space. I'm arguing it's already an early winner right now. I get it, you guys get it, but most people don't. Most people have never even heard of XRP. And see, that's exactly why there's opportunity. If everybody already knew this, we wouldn't be having these excited conversations because it would be as boring as investing in precious metals. I get that gold's been on a bit of a run lately, but that's actually pretty rare. Some would argue it's been decades in the making. But this is where the real opportunity lies for life-changing wealth. So no, it's absolutely not crazy to talk about these double-digit price targets. There's nothing crazy about that whatsoever. I really do believe the best is still ahead of us. Here's an incredible post from Ethernational about XRP's technical structure. XRP is progressing on the Wyckoff method. The structure is still progressing in line with the Wyckoff accumulation phase. You can see he's got the schematic on the right and price action showing where we are now. Basically a fractal overlay of what this particular chart formation looks like as it plays out. He continues, the similarity to the 2017 formation is striking, but this time the market is more mature. Although it's still early, the picture resembles the calm before a strong breakout. The expectation is optimistic, but this time it's not just hope. The technical structure also creates similar expectations. So we've got yet another analyst saying the best is ahead of us. This is historically normal behavior, and this is exactly how he sees things playing out. I completely understand why all these analysts are incredibly optimistic. Nothing about this current setup looks or feels like what a market top has ever felt like in crypto history. If this is the top, then this time truly is different, and I just don't think that's probable. Here's an update from chart analyst Z Gray Crypto on XRP's resistance flip. As expected, XRP battling the supply zone is proving to be a tough battlefield for the bulls. But the good news, we're in the process of flipping it into support. The next key level to watch is around $2.55, which could soon become a strong support zone if this flip completes successfully. This is exactly the kind of technical progression we want to see. Resistance becoming support, building a foundation for the next leg higher. Speaking of hitting key levels, let's look at where XRP stands right now. As I'm recording this, XRP is sitting at $2.42. We hit a 24-hour high of $2.54. So yeah, there does seem to be some resistance in that area, but nothing here is the end of the world. The best is clearly still ahead of us, and I'm incredibly optimistic about what's coming. Even if we get a short-term pullback, which some analysts I follow think is possible, it's not the end of the world. We're simply not done yet. It doesn't make sense for so many reasons to think this cycle is over, especially with global liquidity being where it is right now. We never even saw the business cycle peak, and if that's not an indicator that we're still in this cycle, that would literally be the first time in history. Come on. We're going to find out together, and I'm just as eager as all of you to see how this plays out, because it's genuinely fun and exciting. But here's the thing, I really don't feel any fear here. It just doesn't make sense to be fearful. And there's no trick to why I'm at peace with this situation. It's because I have genuine conviction. That's exactly why I can stay calm through all of this. I believe that even if we somehow went into a bear market right now and XRP crashed with everything else, give it a few years and the market's going to come roaring back. It'll be completely rejuvenated, and XRP is going to continue being a massive beneficiary of that environment. It'll run higher and then we'll absolutely melt faces. I can't control when this thing decides to run, obviously, but I'm going to have exposure when it does. Even if I have to wait longer than expected, it's not going to ruin my life. Sure, you could say it might be a little disappointing, but that's about the strongest emotion I'd feel about it. I genuinely don't care about short-term noise. It's not going to change anything I do, and I'm definitely not going to be fearful about it. I'll never feel fear about XRP's future. XRP is winning. It just needs to be in the right environment, and that's when things absolutely explode. It's the same concept with stocks. You need the right environment, but either you have exposure or you don't. If we somehow entered a bear market, and I had to wait a few more years, so be it. That's exactly what I'll do, and life will go on. But honestly, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I don't think we're going to see a bear market before this thing melts to the upside in spectacular fashion. So you and I are going to find out together. We're on this incredible journey, my friends. And I think we're getting close, I really do. I've never been closer to seeing this play out than I am right now. That's just how time works, right? What's your take on all of this? Are you feeling the same confidence, or are you still on the fence? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and make sure you're subscribed, because you definitely don't want to miss what could be the most exciting chapter of this entire crypto cycle.